What's up, guys? It's your boy Abdullah here from Ather Gaming, and today I'm coming at you guys with a new deck profile. Before we get into the deck profile, I want to say sorry, guys. We haven't been able to upload as consistently as we'd like to. There's been a few reasons for that. Reason number one is that we were preparing for this big 3v3 event that we did end up winning, and as well as I'm going away for a little bit, so I had to do prep work for that as well, and it's just a busy time of year for us. Anyways, before I get into the video, guys, I want to give a huge shout out to all our patrons. I want to give a shout out to our subscribers, all the people who are in our Discord, the people who leave comments down below, guys. We read your comments. We love interacting with you guys. Everybody who's liked our Facebook page, we'll link that down in the description as well, guys. And so we'll get right into it. So today we're going to be talking about the Salamangreat list that I played at the 3v3, and first place got 3 boxes of dual power. Now, our team was me, Hamza, and Talha. There was never a doubt that we were going to win that tournament. And I chose to bring Salamangreats as the deck. And it's a deck that I've been playing for a very long time. And it's a deck that I feel like I understand more than everybody, let's say. So this is the list that we'll go into. And a lot of the things are very similar to what I've shown in the past. So I won't talk as much, or I'll hope not to talk as much. So yeah, I'll just discuss spicy text. And it'll mainly be like a tournament report is what we're going for. So we'll get right into the profile, guys. We play the triple Lady Debug. I've heard a bunch of people say that Lady Debug isn't that great, and this is a 1 card plus 4. If you don't know how it's a 1 card plus 4, go check out our video before, guys. I've shown you guys how to do the full combo with just Lady Debug. Now, people say this card sucks. How can a card that goes plus 4 by itself uninterrupted suck? We're playing a deck where the only thing this deck doesn't have is consistent, abundant starters, and that's exactly what Lady Debug is. So I just don't understand why people wouldn't want to play this card. I understand that it is a little bit weaker going second, but there's ways to play around. Like against the Danger Thunder deck that goes the Dark Matter, you just banish 3 debugs anyway of Dark Matter's effects. You're not gonna try it, so it's okay, cool. The card, it's anybody. I think people who say that Lady Debug is a bad card just say it to be ironic or whatever, because the card by itself just generates you so much advantage, and it's I saw a comparison actually between Debug and Flame Buffalo, and that Flame Buffalo was Destiny Draw and Debug was Stratos. They're both really good cards, but come on, Stratos was banned. So this is the normal summon we play. We actually also play the 2 Flame Buffalos. I wanted to max out on my normal summons. For max out for me is 5 normal summons. I believe that's the correct amount of normal summons to play in a deck. And so I play the 3 Debug. This is a 1 card engine. And Buffalo fulfills a very similar role as Lady Debug, and it lets us get to our combo pieces when we may not have them. Buffalo is a little bit more useful through Debug, is that Buffalo is better going second, and Buffalo is also a card that's good against Thunder Dragon decks, because you can search off the Buffalo. You can't search off the Debug, but you can draw through the Buffalo, and it'll help you load up your grave for cards like Foxy and Spinny, and that's why we play this card. I'd rather play the 3 Debug, because by itself, 3 Debug is better than Flame Buffalo. Flame Buffalo only becomes really good when you open Buffalo plus the Gazelle and a good target to pitch. Good target being Jack Jaguar, Foxy, or Spinny. But we still play the Flame Buffalo. I know people are cutting it and picking one over the other. I don't know why. This deck is just the only issue with this deck is sometimes you open up too many hand traps or too many cards that don't put themselves on board. And these are the cards that get around that. So we want to max out. We play the 5, not the 6, because statistically I think 5 is better. We play the triple Salamangreat Gazelle. This guy is Armageddon Knight, that special summon himself. I've talked about him before. Gazelle on an open board is usually game. Not just that, this is how we win against Sky Striker. So the way you deal with Sky Striker, and I'll get into that when I talk about my matchups later, I don't think this deck is unfavored against Sky Striker at all. And I'm not playing some crazy text to help beat Sky Striker. Gazelle is the 1 card that generates all the advantage for us. The same way they go engage and just go off, that's what we do with Gazelle. So obviously we're going to max this card out at 3. The next card we play at 3, which I know other lists have been cutting down, is Spinny. And I've heard people say that if you play 3 Spinnies, it's just because you don't know how to play the deck. I think that's a ridiculous statement, period. This is okay, look at it this way. We play triple Spinny because we don't want to send Spinny off Gazelle. We play triple Spinny because we don't want to search Spinny off the Lady Debug. So for all those reasons, why wouldn't you max out on this card? This is one of the key points to your combo. There seems to be no reason to not to max out on this card. Spinny is nuts. You can normal the Spinny and then pitch the Spinny. I don't know. I think that really what it boils down to is that this is not a card that you want to send off Gazelle or Foolish Barrel or search off Lady Debug. It's a card you just want to hard open, so you can send a negate, you can send the Falco, you can send the Jaguar earlier in the combo, so you can make the rank 4 play, which I'll show you guys right after. That's why we play 3 Spinny. I think 3 is absolutely correct. I wouldn't play any less number of Spinnies, especially with the amount of Call by the Graves and Shark Cannons running around. We play the double Foxy just because Foxy is a card that on its own isn't the greatest. It's better with other cards, and I don't want to normal summon a card that might get me to a combo. If I was going to normal a card that might get me to a combo, the Buffalo is just a better bet for that compared to the Foxy, because I see 2 cards, and I can, like, Buffalo into Desires potentially, or Buffalo into something else, and it's just really cool. Foxy is really useful. This is how we beat Sky Striker, multi-roll. We just laugh at multi-roll. This is how we deal with Floodgates. We only play the 2 because you realistically only need 2 Foxy to play. We're not normal summoning this card. It's not a card that we want to search or anything, so it's like, if we would much rather hard open the Spinny than hard open the Foxy, which is why we're playing multiple Spinnies. And just playing the 2 Foxys, I think, is just correct. I think everybody's just playing that card at 2 now. We play the 4 toolbox, the Jack Jaguar, the Falco, and the Fowl. Jaguar is one of the reasons why our deck is unfair, and one of the reasons why we can play through a lot of the negates and the interruptions that a lot of these decks are putting out now. And this is our grind game because it recycles itself by shuffling back an extra deck monster, summoning itself, which will help trigger Wolf's effect to recycle itself, and then Jack Jaguar by itself is just super powerful. Against Sky Striker, one of the ways you really put pressure on is you leave your Mirage Stallion, you leave your Sunlight Wolf, and you leave your Jaguar in attack position, and you actually want to prioritize the protection of your Jack Jaguar. Because if this card's in the graveyard, they can Shark Cannon it, so you want to be able to resolve your Jaguar as much as possible. Falco is just the other good level 4 that we play. In our combos, Falco helps set up game where we can go something like Gazelle, send the Fusion of Fire, and then we get Falco to the grave like normal. The Falco link it away, set the Fusion of Fire. It's also a level 4, so in the level 4 or rank 4 play, Falco comes up for that. We play the third 4 for that in Foul. And actually, before I get into Foul, something that you can do with Falco that I love doing is I'll use the Rage Trap card to send Falco to the grave and then pop one of their cards. And then on Resolution, Falco will reset the Rage. And so it's a way to... Infinite Tsukiyomi. Your opponent's stunned out of the game. It's actually a way you can deal with Floodgates. It's a way you can deal with cards like Goliath. Falco and Rage are the way you deal with all the garbage nonsense that's running around in the game right now. We play the Foul just to help us with our rank 4 access, just because in the mirror match, the rank 4, whoever gets to the rank 4 basically wins the mirror. And against a lot of decks in the current format, rank 4 backed up, and the rank 4s we play, we'll get into it, they're Dweller and Baguska. Rank 4 backed up with a counter trap or the Regeki Break trap is usually just game. And we do the Foul play while holding a Mirage Stallion, for example, and our Sunlight Wolf, so it's just really good. Going second, it helps us play and protect our Gazelle from cards like Protocol, cards like Solemn Strike, because you can normal the Gazelle, chain 1 Gazelle, chain 2 Foul. So there's a lot that you can do with that. We play that. This is the Salamangreat and other engine count that we've been playing. I've been playing this list for quite a bit now, and I'm just super confident and super comfortable with it. I don't think there's anything you could really cut. Sometimes I feel like adding Mole, maybe Mirror, but with the prevalence of Danger Thunder, especially where we were playing, it was a card that I chose not to play. Moving on from the Salamangreat monsters, the engine pieces, we play the triple Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. Guys, this is one of those things, right? If you can't afford Phantasme, or you can't justify to yourself buying Phantasme, don't play this list. There's a better list, there's a different list I can show you guys that does not need Phantasme. This is one of the ways that we deal with a lot of the decks in the current format. And for those of you who can't justify buying the 3 Phantasme or picking up the Phantasme, you guys can wait till Megatin's coming out soon. There's another list you can play without Phantasme, but because we play so many hand traps, Phantasme is super useful in our deck. In the mirror match, it's really hard to deal with your opponent's Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. Against Sky Striker, if you draw Phantasme off Phantasme against Striker, you actually keep the Phantasme, because you can trigger it on their turn, you trigger it right when they summon the Shizuku, and then on your turn, when you run over the Link monster, you just summon the Phantasme, so you just generate advantage through that. It's one of the reasons why Salamangreats are doing amazing right now, just because Phantasme isn't out to a lot of cards, and it helps us get to the cards that we want to see to deal with those boards, and that cards like that are the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. Ash Blossom is insane in our deck. It's a fire monster, level 3, 0 attack, Heat Leo synergy, Sunlight Wolf synergy. We can recycle this card, and it hits everything in the metagame, which is why we play this card at 3. I played it at 2 before. I just love the card. Its generic application is so great. And speaking about generic application, we have triple Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is nuts because you can draw multiple copies off Phantasme, and we can resolve multiple copies in one turn. It's not a hard one per turn. It's actually the reason why we cut Infinite Impermanence, just because Veiler just did the job better. Not only that, again, just being like a card that has 0 attack is just super useful with your Helio. And against Altergeist, I actually normal summon Veiler to play through Secret Village because it is a spellcaster. So the card's great. It's not hard once per turn. And then the last hand trap we play are the double Ghost Ogres. The reason why we play only 2 Ghost Ogres is because of the name restriction on the card. This card really just says destroy your opponent's multi-roll and win the game. It's useful to use against like Saryuja, the Ghost Saryuja effect, and you just Ogre the Saryuja, and like, you know, they're kind of locked out there. You can Ogre the Agripane, the LP, removing these threats from the board so they don't resolve. Summon Sorceress as well. It has its niche rolls. 8 hand traps is, I think, the correct amount. Phantasme just makes everything more likely to see. Those are all the monsters we play. Then we play the triple Salamangreat Circle. This is our Rhoda. This is also a quasi-Eagle booster in what it does for us. More importantly, what it does is it gives us more copies of Gazelle. And that's all this deck revolves around. So we play 3 of these, we play 3 Debug, we play 3 Gazelle, and we play 2 Foxy, 2 Buffalo. Like, look, we're playing like 13-something copies of the card. We're going to see it. This card is insane. It's also one of the ways that we win the Grand Game against Striker, is that we can reset the circle and just have that one card on our opponent so they can't really just beat us with advantage. We play the 1 Salamangreat Sanctuary. Sanctuary is a necessary combo piece. It's a necessary Garnet. The card is really good. You don't want to draw it, obviously, which is why we only play 1. And sometimes you want to prioritize the Balinks. This is how we reincarnate Link. This is how we gain life point in time. This is just how we win the game and how we play our game. The next one up we play is the Will of the Salamangreat. This is the Monster Reborn, the Soul Charge. I've had it put as... I never liked this card, ever. I've never actually liked playing this card. It's just nice going second, and it just feels like a win more card that I don't think this deck needs to play more of. So the card is fantastic in what it does. It is an extender, and it is a card that helps us play through when our normal summon is interrupted, which is one of the weaknesses of the deck, which is why I play the 1. I've seen many decks that play like 2 of this. They play Monster Reborn, they play double Reclusia, which we're not playing, just because I think like having Reclusia resolve is just... it's like too idealistic, right? Like, how often against you, Umzo, when you play, like, does Reclusia actually kill your Goliath? Like, it just doesn't happen.
I didn't care half the time.
Yeah, like, it doesn't happen. Then we play the 1 Fusion of Fire. Obviously, it's a win condition. We play the 1 in the deck just because we can search it. We have access to it. So, yeah, it's just fantastic. We're siding more copies. It's really good against the mirror match. It's really good against link-based strategies, and it helps us end the game. That's all that we play for the Salamangreat spells. Now we're playing the triple Call by the Grave. I remember when people were cutting this card from this deck. I don't know why. This card is insane. Our deck goes +4. We want to do 1-for-1 trades. They're super favorable in they're super advantage.
Nice.
Whatever. They're great for us because 1-for-1s don't matter to us because we're going +4 on turn 1, and just being able to lock out your opponent's Ray. If Sky Striker doesn't have Ray, they cannot beat you. Stopping Goliath. This is one of the ways you actually can beat that deck is by like when you go second and you don't open anything, is by Call by the Grave and the Goliath. The card is nuts. It also helps us push through our plays with Debug, push through our plays with Gazelle, just being able to win. In the mirror match, turning off the Sunlight Wolf is really nice. And banishing their Jack Jaguar after you resolve yours for turn is how you win the game. Like now they're out of a Jaguar. The 1 Foolish Burial is... this card's broken. It's a 1-of, guys. Like, come on. But in our deck, why it's like super useful is if we open Foolish Burial with a regular combo, we can actually make a rank 4 as well. So that's why we play it. Just having access to the rank 4 play as well is just insane. And then we play the Double Desires. This card is mandatory in this deck. Like, there's no reason not to play this. I understand if you're playing the Sanctum package, you can cut it, but you should just be playing multiple sites at that point. This card is busted. In the mirror match, if you brick, you just Desires, get out of the brick. You know, if you don't brick, you just Desires after the brick, draw more hand traps, draw more, cards, more resources, just win the game. This is how we get out of the game. Like, if you look at what we're playing for consistency cards, right? Like, we're not losing to ourselves. And a lot of people who've played Salamangreats have told me that, like, I just feel like I'm not opening enough cards to play the game. And so we play the double Buffalo in addition to the Debug, and we play the double Pod Desires. So we're playing 4 more consistency cards than everybody else. Being able to just hard draw 2 cards is insane in our deck. And not just that, but, like, this works through Colossus. It works going second to push through plays. And most importantly, once we do our full combo, we don't actually care what's in our deck anymore. So after we Desires, after full combo, it's just so advantageous for us. And not just that, but like, if you brick, I'd rather have Desires, right? Than like not have Desires. The last 2 cards we play in the deck are the Salamangreat Traps. We play the Roar. This card is really good against Sky Striker. It's what we're going to be sending. Usually when you're playing blind, you send the Roar. Rage comes up against everything else. If you think your opponent's signing into Floodgates, Rage is really good to send first. If you think that, it's the out to Goliath, it's the out to like Vanity's Ruler. I got that tribute summoned against me. Like cards like that. It's the out to a lot of those cards. We play the 41 cards of the main deck, guys. I'm going to go into the extra deck first, and we play the triple Salamangreat Balinks. You have to play 3 of this card. Period. When you brick, Balinx gets you out of it, and when you go through the grind game, having more Balinxes is better than nothing. We play the triple Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf, signed by every member of Ather Gaming. This card is nuts. This is our Kagari OTS Super Printing coming out, so super excited for that. Double Heatleo, you don't need more than 2. Against Sky Striker, this is the win condition against that deck. What you'd usually do is, like, you know, you've been grinding for a little bit, you make the Heatleo, or you make the Phoenix, pop a back row, Heatleo, shuffle back a back row, reincarnate the Heatleo, shuffle back another back row, and then use the ability of Rage to set itself. So you have Heatleo and then Rage set, and then you have like Jack Jaguar that'll shuffle back another card, and you just have so much advantage on Sky Striker that they just lose the game. Also with Fusion of Fire is how we punch people to death. We play the one Mirage Stalio. You only need one of this card. 2, it feels, sometimes you feel like you need 2, but people need to start understanding that on your first return of Jaguar, you should actually be sending the Stalio. It's okay to have that one Sunlight Wolf because you play around Effect Veiler on your reincarnated Sunlight Wolf. And so you only need the one Stalio. Manage your resources with this card. It's super powerful. We play the one Violet Chimera just because we're playing the Fusion of Fire, and this is how we end games and how we punish opponents who overextend. And it just helps us close out games when we need to play the card. Now this right here is what I would say the 10 mandatory cards that every single Salamangreat extra deck should play. And I'm going to get into 5 more cards. These are your 5 flex spots, but these are all basically mandatory. Hita, card is nuts. This is what you make when you brick kind of thing. Against Striker, it helps you get into a Heatleo, it helps you get into a Sunlight Wolf because it revives a fire monster. And the thing with Hita is that Wolf only requires 2+ fire monsters, or 2 fire monsters to make. Like, Hita is nuts for that. It fulfills the requirements for Heatleo on its own, and being 1850 lets it swing over Wolves in the mirror match, and if it gets destroyed, you get a Searcher. Gazelle, the card is busted. We play the one Nightmare Phoenix. I thought about cutting it. That was wrong. Nightmare Phoenix under the Balinx, get a draw off of your Phoenix effect. When you pop the back row, you deal with a multi-roll, make the Heatleo. It's Fire Monster, so we can trigger its effects. The one Borlo Dragon. Borlo conflicts with the Mirage Stalio, but we don't need Mirage Stalio to make this card. People just stop respecting Borlo. This happens like every 3 months since this card's come out, is people have just forgotten about Borlo Dragon. We steal opponents' Baguskas, we steal their Dwellers, we steal their whatever monster, really, whatever, any problem, we steal their Colossus and kill them with their own monster. Then we play the 2 rank 4s. We play Abyss Dweller, the card that kills all graveyard decks, and we play Baguska, the card that is a 1-card FTK in the mirror match. Dweller is insane against Orcus, it's insane against Thunder Dragons, and Dweller backed with a counter trap, or Dweller backed with like the Rage and the Roar it is just game for most decks. The same can be said about Baguska. In the mirror match, I actually prioritize making Baguska, and Baguska is also super powerful against decks like Cyber Dragon, against decks that really rely on their normal summon. If you're playing against Pure Thunder, Baguska can be super useful against that deck as well. It's just insane. Like, people forgot about how insane Baguska was. Pankratops doesn't work under Baguska because Pankratops tributes itself for cost, but Pankratops goes to defense mode as soon as it's summoned. And Baguska says negate the effect of activated effects of monsters that were in defense position when their effects were activated. This came up against Sky Striker, where they normaled Ray went to defense, they activated the effect of Ray, and I'm like, alright, doesn't resolve Chief. Like, Baguska's just nuts, and like, why was I making Baguska against Sky Striker? I don't know, my hands were really that nuts. We'll go into the side deck, guys. We play the triple Pancratop. This should be in everybody's side deck. This is a card that helps against the Azathoth locks. It helps against the Mirror Match. It helps against Sky Striker. Helps against Danger and Thunder. It helps against Pure Thunder. Helps against Dinos. Helps against Evil Eye. Everything in the game. Guru, whatever. Best card in the game. Should have gone Ulti Printing. Ultra Rare is good enough. We play the 3 Twin Twisters. This is not a card I sided in the Mirror Match. This is a card I sided in strictly for something like Sky Striker. Strictly for something like Guru. Just being able to twin, and like, you're a deck that pluses so hard off one card that 2-for-2 trades like Twin Twisters is just broken, and it just swings the game in your favor significantly. Again, these 6 cards should be in almost every single side deck. Now the tech we were playing was the Triple Shared Ride. This card was insane. It overperformed for me just as I thought it would. The card was really good against Salamangreats. The card was really good against Sky Striker. The card was really good against Thunder Dragons even. They add so many cards to their hand that it's insane. Like, if you think about the regular combo, and let's say you hand trap them, or you make like a negate board, like White Wiverbuster and Collapse Serpent, that's 2 draws right there. Like, Dark Searching, 3 draws. Like, this is just insane in what it does. Against Sky Striker, they almost can't win if you go Rage and you go Shared Ride, because they need 2 to 3 searches to really break your board, and Shared Ride just recycles everything. So I play the 3 of those. I play the 1 Super Poly and the 1 Fusion of Fire for the Mirror Match. It's a powerful card, and I had a feeling that it would come up, so I sided into the 2nd Fusion of Fire and the 1 Super Polymerization. I usually side out some Debug is not going to resolve going second kind of thing, or some cards aren't going to resolve going second. And so these were my replacements for them. They were really good. When you see them, you clear the board. And then this is what I was playing. And this is the artifact package, Sanctum Scythe. And I didn't like main decking it just because Striker just Shark Cannons it and then just keeps summoning back your Scythe and kills you. But I wanted a card or an engine that going first against Danger Thunder just in my testing or going first against any kind of combo deck, I could just Sanctum and have them pass their turn. And this was the card. This was the only card that did that. I tested Rivalry. Rivalry is too vulnerable to cards like Twin Twisters and, Pancratops, like cards of that nature. Sanctum is just broken. You know what? The craziest thing about Sanctum is you actually side this card going second against Salamangreats. Like when you're playing the mirror match, what you do is you break their board and then you set your Sanctum, and then when they try to play you Sanctum, summon up the Scythe, and you win the game. This card was actually insane. I sided this in every mirror that I played, whether I was going first, going second, and it's definitely worth playing. Even with the Desires, you just side out the Desires, guys. All right. That was the deck. I'm just going to go quickly into my matchups and what I played against so you guys have an idea. In our first round, I played against the... what did I play round one? Oh, I played against Mech Knight Kaiju Luna Sky Blaster. It was this super go second blind OTK focused deck. Game one was just easy. He won the roll, made me go first. I made rank 4 Mirage Stallion, Sunlight Wolf, and a counter trap, and it's just game. I don't care how many kaijus you have because you're just negging yourself at that point. Game 2, similar situation. That was a pretty easy match. Round 2, we played up against. I played against Striker, and in the Striker mirror match again, I think I lost a die roll, and it just turned into a grind game. He was main decking Summon Limit, which was super annoying because it took me forever to get rid of it. And then what I kept doing was I set the Roar, and then I would just really prioritize this and Jaguar and Falco. And eventually it turned down to he was out of Sky Striker links, he had no more Kagaris, and he made a Bomber. And when Sky Striker makes Bomber, that's all they have. They're hoping their Bomber sticks. So I out everything, I Borreload the Bomber, and it's this game. Game 2 just came down to a time. I hit him for 6k turn 1, and then he hit me with Hayate a few times. Again, in game 2, it was this card that was really just MVP. Shared Ride, I just flipped Shared Ride, and you kind of just win the game from there. In our third match, I was playing against Subterrors, and I got flipped. I got their Chameleon 1 flipped on me both games. If you don't have the out to that card, you don't have the out to that card. Now I had the out. A Twin Twister targeted their Chameleon 1, and I pitched another Twin Twisters. And I knew he had Phoenix in hand. He Phoenix negated. I was tired, that's all I'm going to say. We were in top cut anyway, it was fine. First, in the semis, I played against the Salamangreat mirror match. Game 1, I lost the roll, and I just lost to the board that he established. Game 2, I got to go first. I normal debug. My hand was insane. My hand was Gazelle, Spinny, I had everything. I normal debug, I activated debug's effect, and I got Ghost Ogred, and I passed. I still won that game because I had Fusion of Fire, so that was fine. Game 3, again, it was a similar instance. I decided in the Fusion of Fire, the Super Poly. I cleared the board, and then I set the Sanctum, and I just won through that. And in my final match in the finals, I played against Thunder Dragons, Danger Thunder. I won the die roll, so I made the match a lot easier. I actually made Baguska against that deck because I opened up the counter trap and I opened up so I set the counter trap and I had Foolish, so I could also have access to Jaguar and the Rage. So that was literally the culmination of the deck because I drew I used Desires to draw the Rage. I had the Roar Scent or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. I had both my back rows, and then I had the Baguska as well, and he just couldn't play through it because he needed his Sky Blaster normal summon to go off to really win, and that just wasn't going to happen. Game 3, he Tribute Summoned Goliath.
Nice.
I had Dwellered him, and then Game 2, he did full combo, and I scooped. Game 3, I went first. My hand was not that great. I still did the combo. I had the 1 negate, and I Dwellered him, and he just reveal danger, Tribute Summoned Goliath, and run over my monster. And then I was I'm going to lose this game, and I drew for turn, and I drew the Rage, which was just game a turn earlier. To be fair, I didn't need the Rage. I had the Gazelle in my hand and the Falco on field already, so I could have just set that play up regardless. But yeah, that was my report. That's what I did. I dropped 1 game against Subterrors, and that was basically it. The deck just performed insane, and this is the deck that I would say is the best deck in the current metagame, just in what it can play and what it can side for. This deck is super favored against Sky Striker, guys. You guys are going to hear from Hamza, his report, and Thala about his report as well. Thank you guys for checking out the channel, guys. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, and join our Discord. That's the Blow from Ather Gaming, guys, signing out.